All right, Anthony Down Air Podcast back for another episode, and we're updating you on the Prince Andrew, Virginia Giuffre case. Huge development there. We have it for you, of course, and also who is on Prince Andrew's side throughout all of this. Still shocking that that's happening, but we'll get into it coming up. Chris Noth,
Good. Very good.
was worried, has been taken out of the Sex and the City finale. New morning show coming to local stations. Tucker and Teddy. Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson spar. We got that for you. Kim Kardashian, my cousin, chiming in, agrees with Jay Sabs. Funny story on this one. Stick around for that. We've got a mask update. Aaron Rodgers planning a boycott of the Super Bowl. Star Wars controversy. We lost the great Sidney Poitier, and a Jay Sabs job update. Frankie C's here. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. My wife just made brownies, and they are delish. Just had one before the show. That's wonderful.
Legit nothing better than a fresh, hot brownie out of the oven.
And they are normal brownies for anybody in the comments.
Okay. You have to say that. On this show, you have to clarify.
Because everybody's going to ask in the comments, what kind of brownies you having?
Yeah, 100%.
Regular chocolate brownies.
100%. I'm consuming alcohol. This is Gosling's sipping rum.
As in Ryan?
Yes. This is Ryan Gosling's sweat. Fermented.
Nice. It's no fart in a jar, but I'll take it.
But we'll take it. We'll deal. Prince Andrew and Virginia Giuffre. On Tuesday, things were heating up. We were told pretty soon we're going to know when this is going to go to trial. Then we did an update on Wednesday where we're like, we don't have an update, but we're hearing trial. Now the story is leaking out that at one point, Virginia Giuffre was looking to settle with Prince Andrew to not go to trial for $5 million. Remember, we just learned last episode or the one before that the settlement between Epstein and Giuffre was only $500,000.
Right.
I thought that would be a lot more considering that he was a beyond billionaire. Right. This guy settled that whole thing for $500,000, which seems insane. But Virginia Giuffre trying to settle with Prince Andrew for $5 million, and she kept getting shut out. 10 times there was an attempt that was made to try and get this to be settled before going to court. And then, of course, we know that there was that extended time frame where victims could file lawsuits. And 4 or 5 days before, Virginia did. And now they're basically saying it is too late for him to try and settle this. That she is going to trial. It's not about the money. It's about having him in that courtroom and on that stand. She's done with the chance of settling. She wants to see him up on that court, on that witness stand, talking about what he did to her.
Good for her.
I'm with you on that one too. Good for her is right.
Yeah, I mean, she tried to give him she didn't have to try to give him the easy way out. But she did. She tried. He, I guess, ignored it. So
dodged it. Tried to get out of it. Yeah, see you in court is right. So Judge Lewis Kaplan is the judge that's on top of this. Again, like I said, we were supposed to get somewhat of an answer on whether or not it's going to court. He hasn't rendered that opinion just yet, but now everybody is saying that the lawyers on both sides are starting to ready their calendar, clear their calendar for the end of this year.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know what we're going to wind up having first, the Ghislaine retrial or this.
Oh, boy.
But it's this stuff has not gone away, and we thought maybe 2022 would be the year that we would put some of this stuff behind us.
I wonder if your preparations change for like how much you adjust for a retrial.
Can I tell you something? I would blow a retrial because I'd be like, we already did this.
Yeah, go back but there's 12 new people that haven't heard this, but you'll be like, yeah, I said all this already.
I'd be like forgetting things. I'd be like, oh, that's right. I didn't tell you people about this.
You should just tape everything you said. Leave a tape recorder running on your desk in the trial, and then just play it for everyone. This was my opening statement. Here you go.
I'd be in there being mad. Like, why didn't we film this so we could just fucking play it for the new people?
Yeah, I made a great point last month. but now I forget. I can't remember what it was.
This is why, and again, so we're radio guys. We like the live thing. Yeah, you ever remember like you come up with a bit and then you try and do it again on the air and you blow it? Like I would happen to me all the time. It has to be normal. Just like go with it.
Yeah, it's got to come out naturally, and to try to recreate it is
I would be
next to impossible.
A huge failure.
Well,
I would be like the understudy in the Bette Midler play.
Just cry as your shoelaces untied. Yeah.
Yes, that would be the second performance. Here's the other thing. We talked about this a little in the past, and now we know it for sure, but multiple sources are telling the New York Post that Fergie, the Duchess of York, Sarah Ferguson, is very much on Prince Andrew's side. I think she's just worried about her future and people taking care of her because she had to sign off on the sale of the Swiss chalet that Andrew is selling for 17 million English dollars, whatever they call those things.
I thought it was euros. I could be wrong.
I don't know. Who cares? It should be American dollars. We should all be on the American dollar at this point.
That's something. I think we should have an Earth dollar. Why are we all different? Why is everything so different?
How did we all agree on numbers, but not a dollar amount?
I mean, why is this dollar different from the other? Just make everything the same. Less confusion.
Think about that. We all agreed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We came to that conclusion. All our languages are different. Everybody's got a different word for this. Yep. There's a different word for phone, pen, microphone. But 1 is still 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3.
Well, there's a different word for those, but
we agree on it.
Yeah, we all think that 1 is 1 and 2 is 2. Well, we all think pencil is pencil and phone.
But you think one culture would have been like, fuck that. You know what comes after 3? Flurfanoid. It's 1, 2, 3, flurfanoid, 6, 7, 8.
You skip 5-anoid.
Not. And we don't have that. We got rid of that.
Oh, there's no 5-anoid anymore.
Yeah, there's no 5-anoid.
Okay.
But yeah, she's holding on for dear life. She's supporting him, which is kind of crazy because she's divorced from him.
Plus, I'd be like, no comment. You know, I don't. I'm out of this. Just leave me out of this.
I'm on it. He's a piece of shit.
Or that.
Like he clearly cheated on her and did horrific things while doing it. They're divorced, and she's like, "Oh, I'm on his side." Like that just sucks. So he's selling the Swiss chalet because the royal family will not put $1 to his defense.
Really?
I don't know if they're sneaking him money under the table. Yeah, supposedly.
So how the hell is he paying for anything?
Through his own money.
What money does he have that's not from the royal family?
He has money that he was paid from being the royal family, but they will not.
Whatever he's accumulated.
Right now, they will not They will not contribute to his defense whatsoever. I don't think they can. They've all distanced themselves from him. Prince Charles is supposedly like through the roof pissed off. Like, how could you not be? He's gonna be a royal family member to wind up in an American court. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a really big deal.
Do you imagine like a president of ours having to go to court as a, being sued in Europe and has to answer for crimes over there?
Yeah, exactly.
It would just saying it's weird.
It would never happen. Like, I don't think America would.
I don't know. Would it? If that happened, I can't say it would be. It should happen if it's justified. It's not like the person should have to answer for it, whatever they did. But
and I will say it's a different time now because 10, 15, 20 years ago, this would have never happened. This would have been swept under the rug. Deal would have been made.
Yeah, it's all because the whole Me Too thing.
Which is the one good thing I guess you could point to, right? At least these things are coming to justice in some way, shape, or form.
100%.
So many people, Frank, think that the Ghislaine juror that is screwing everything up now, it was a plant. Like instantly, as soon as we did the last episode, like instantly the comments were like, "Oh, this was all part of it. This is a plant."
Well, you know what? Once they're out of the jury box, they're now free to talk about whatever. And if someone went up to him and said, "Go on this show," and say that you say something that was false from what it could be. Maybe they got to someone. They got to him.
Well, supposedly there was another juror that was a victim of abuse as well, and they let that one on the thing. Because here's the thing: if you were, it would be up to the lawyers to get you off of the thing. And if they got that person on, then that's fine. It's whether or not this person lied on the question.
Yeah, they could have admitted it, and maybe they hashed it out through questioning.
Right.
But yeah, we don't know.
And we don't know. The one who's making all the fuss though works for Carlyle, which I think is a financial, which was the other big sensitive topic because Epstein came from the financial world. They were like trying not to get financial people on, and
man,
yeah, it's. I mean, it's crazy. It's pretty crazy. I drank an explicit amount of Jumpstart Coffee Company today.
Did you?
It was a snow day here in New York.
It was a beautiful snow day.
Right? Like, I mean, my wife brewed a big old pot this morning and so usually she'll make a pot, I'll have like a cup, and then we like to let it sit, and then we put it in the fridge, and then we chill it. And that's how I like it. Iced coffee, Jumpstart.
Nice.
But today I had like 4 cups in a row. I was fucking bouncing off of walls. I was like, I can
drink
shovel
responsibly.
This. Yeah. I was fucking. I was like my own snowblower.
Hummingbird out there.
Jumpstart Coffee Company, proud sponsor of the show. Support them. They support us and the Navy SEAL Foundation. 50% of their profits go to the Navy SEAL Foundation. Frank's sporting the dark roast, which is exactly what I was drinking this morning.
This is so far. They're all good. This is my favorite one so far.
You were a medium roast guy, as was I. Now I'm back on the dark roast, as you just said.
I love the dark chocolate in there and that smokiness. It's very rich. It's very good because I'm like I like sweet. I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the chocolate in here it hits home for me.
I'm flip-flopping on Jumpstart flavors like a politician on issues. It's just you can't keep track of me. Purchase right now with the link in the description below on this episode. By the way, you purchasing this coffee, you supporting them. Not only supports the Navy SEAL Foundation, but literally keeps the lights on in this place. We would not be able to do this show without that support. So please grab some Jumpstart Coffee Company. If not, you are literally stealing from the show, and my children will go hungry and not be able to attend college.
Oh.
Not to lay a guilt trip on you, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean...
If you don't want to turn my son into a future homeless person that an 80-year-old Janine is going to be flirting with, buy some Jumpstart Coffee Company. That's all I'm saying.
That makes sense. There's no leaps taken there. That's fine.
Thanks. Speaking of J-Sabs, Chris Noth.
Yeah, that's how you say it.
Is being edited out of the, I keep on wanting to call it Sex in the City. They're not calling it. And Just Like That.
And Just Like That.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been removed from the season finale of And Just Like That after all these allegations.
I feel like he was removed from the show.
Yeah.
Because spoiler alert.
He died. I think
he died in the show.
He died now. Yeah. But I guess there's some.
I'm sure there's a flashback and some shit.
I guess there's some. I should really keep my mouth. I should keep it down because I don't know if Cuddles knows this yet and she's watching it.
Well, there's people watching the show now. I mean, should we spoiler alert this?
Oh, is tonight the finale?
I don't know.
Today?
I have no idea.
I don't know what time it comes out. I know it comes out on Friday.
But if you're about to spoil it,
yeah,
even if it did come out today or yesterday, it's still a spoiler.
Well, I don't know if this is a crazy spoiler because, okay, most people who are watching it know he's dead, and whatever was going to happen in the finale was going to be some sort of a flashback or, whatever. But I was watching I'm watching this show now because my wife started watching it.
You poor bastard.
So now I'm watching it. And it's not bad. I was never into the original all that much.
I was not.
Yeah. I'll tell you my favorite part about it. Bobby Lee is on it. And I love Bobby Lee. From Mad TV.
Is the tall guy?
He's the Asian comic.
Oh, I don't know.
And he's like a huge fat mess. I love Bobby Lee.
Okay.
Like he's just disheveled. Like I love that he's on. I love that he's getting work, and I hope that it's gonna he doesn't need help in his career. He's very successful. But I want him to do better. But not that he needs it. But it annoys me a little bit too because he is hysterical on his podcast. He has a podcast called Tiger something. It's very funny. And he's on a podcast on this show, but it's just like this like safe Sex in the City kind of approach and humor and stuff, and it's not the same. That's Bobby.
Oh, I know him. Okay.
He was on Mad TV. I think he's most famous for his time on Mad TV.
Right. He's not fat.
He does okay. Yeah, he's okay, but he was really big there for a little while.
Oh, okay.
But his podcast is very, very funny. Not one that I thought I would enjoy all that much when I first saw it. Because it's also, this is what else that annoys me. It's like a split screen thing. So you see him, his girlfriend / wife / co-host, and then you see a shot of the whole room at the same time. So it's like this weird security camera footage looking thing, which kind of drives me crazy.
How could she be a girlfriend / wife?
I don't know if he's married to her,
Right.
but she's very nice too.
Cool.
And I just think he's one of the funniest fucking people on the planet. Like, he's so funny. And he's got like all the great comics on his show. You got like David Spade there. Tiger Belly is the name of this podcast. That's a fucking funny name, like Tiger Belly.
I like it, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the show because I just was never. I don't understand the hype that was surrounding it at the time. The writing. I watched a couple episodes. And I'm like, the writing is very cliched and just.
Very.
The jokes are all puns and like, it's like.
But I'll tell you what it is. It's from a woman's perspective, for a woman's perspective.
Great.
It's like how I felt about, like, I love Entourage, right?
Oh, it's another one.
And I think it's a great show. I think Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld, like, those are great, great shows. And it dawned on me that, like, I would never be hysterical laughing at Entourage. It's funny. It's a good show. It's not those other shows. But what I love about it is it's about a group of guys that hang out together. And I saw myself in them, you know? And that's what I think a lot of women see with Sex in the City.
Yeah, that's fine. But
they see themselves and their sister and their girlfriends and how they interact with one another. And that's why it's good.
Great. However, like, I just didn't get, like, the jokes were always, that's what always missed for me. I was like, huh. You know, nothing ever really landed. Like, I never watched it go, oh, that was a great episode. Like, you know, nothing significant would happen for the most part. Once a week, and I was like, I can't anymore. I just never got into it. It wasn't my style. It wasn't for me. It wasn't made for. I'm not the target audience.
No, you're not.
So that's fine. And you know, people like it. That's great. I'm not saying it's not. It just never was for me. I never liked it.
But she does, like, in the original, she had like a column, and then I think she became like a book writer. Now she does a podcast. And so, like, I have to, I don't know if you do this too, but like, I have to sit there and like scrutinize like what they're doing and like what kind of mics are they using? Like, where is this? And it drives me crazy because one of the girls, she's like doing this. She's like doing the show at the mic. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I would love to be a podcast consultant on Hollywood shows.
They need that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't. Yeah. Like, you have to be on top of the mic. If you're over here, it's not going to sound great. So.
It's yes, exactly. And sometimes they use the wrong microphones and everything, and that drives me crazy.
I hear you.
There was a whatchamacallit? Who's the guy that I love? Ed Burns. Ed Burns made a movie once, and he played a radio guy in the movie, and he had a voiceover microphone as opposed to a broadcast microphone, and it took me out of the whole movie. And he was nice enough. Because he lives out in the Hamptons, so he came on the show once, and I almost told him,
"Oh, missed opportunity."
Yeah, like, why did you do that? And then I was also mad at the time because I was super radio guy at the time. I was mad because he did it. I know the recording studio where he shot it, and I'm like, why didn't you just come here and shoot it at the actual radio station? And then I realized, because this place is sad and it would not look good on a Hollywood big screen.
This is a shack in the middle of nowhere.
But it took me a while to come to that realization. Like, oh, this is shit. When I existed.
People, I mean, it's weird when you think of radio and then you go to a radio station. It's still kind of a magical thing, but then you look closely. You go, oh, this is falling apart. Okay.
You know what I'll never forget? I hate dropping this name, but when Howard Stern came, he told me he visited a couple times. And on the second or third visit, he told me that when he first thought of this idea to shoot people like on radio, to take pictures of people on radio, that he would come. This is the funniest thing. I don't know if I've ever really shared this with anybody. And I hope my former coworkers are listening to this. But he said that he was expecting to come there and see this sad, dilapidated shithole, like, and just sad people walking around. And he was like, I was delighted to see how, like, happy you are, and, you know, and how, like, nice the equipment is. And the equipment was never really nice. And I guess I was too naive to realize how, you know, unhappy
you were happy to see him. It's not like...
Yeah, that was probably part of it too.
We don't act like this every day, you know. Right. We're happy because you're here.
Because you're here.
Tomorrow we'll be miserable again.
He was like, I was expecting to see this, just depressing scene, and that's what I think he wanted to shoot, and that just wasn't there. So
if he sent someone down, then you'd get it. But if he showed up, then everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, Howard.
But it was also this thing of like, that's what he had heard while listening all these years.
Yeah.
So clearly it was there. You're probably right. It was probably because of that.
Yeah. Everybody lights up, puts on their best personality when he's there, I'm sure.
Anyway, I'm one of the girls now, Frank. I am in this Sex in the City bit, and they've locked me in. Spoiler alert. Here it comes. I'm going to throw spoilers out there.
Oh boy. The
one who's a lesbian, what's her name? She ran for mayor. I call her lesbian mayor girl. That's what I go. My wife, she comes on the screen. I go, "What? Look, here's lesbian mayor girl again." Whatever her name is, Candace Cameron Bure. It doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, she winds up making out with the boss of Carrie, so I guess the boss of the podcast show, whatever. She hired Carrie. I guess she said, I didn't see the first couple episodes. I jumped in at episode 4 or whatever I jumped in on. But she was like, oh, Carrie will be good on a podcast. You're going to be on our podcast
I think it's
now.
Carrie.
What do I say?
Carrie.
Right. Oh, okay. So now Carrie is like, oh, that's my boss. And lesbian mayor girl winds up making out with her and gets finger banged in the kitchen, while I will say this was a funny ass scene. So Carrie has to get hip replacement. Mm-hmm. So now she can't get up and walk around. So she wakes up from a nap, and the girl there is like kind of watching her there to help her out. And she's getting finger banged in the kitchen. And now Carrie is looking at this, and she's like, I gotta pee, and winds up pissing herself in the bed because she can't get up because of her hip.
So wait,
while the girl's getting banged in the kitchen.
Oh, so she was like, I'll let that continue, and like just hold. She couldn't hold it.
No, she couldn't hold it. She had to pee. She had to go.
Yeah, but you know,
I don't know. She's like 50 something, 60 something on the show. I don't, you know.
Sure, but
I'm about half that age, and I nearly pee myself every day.
Yeah, but you hold it. I don't know what it's like after a hip replacement. Maybe you can't hold it, but I'm just saying.
It's a funny scene. Like, I think she tries to go like off the bed in like a jar or something, or a Snapple bottle, but she winds up just getting it all over her.
Oh God!
And then she's screaming at her. She's like, "You're banging my boss in the kitchen while I'm pissing myself. You're supposed to be here, fucking helping me." It was an interesting episode. I will say that. It was kind of entertaining.
Yeah, I never. You know what it is too. Whenever I watched it, it just seemed unrealistic to me. I just never bought it. Like, it seemed too.
Yeah, well,
I know. I just obviously I can't relate, but I'm just saying it was very, out of the this is ridiculous kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, I'll give him credit. Like, that's a fun little thing to go by.
Sure.
Like, like that whole kind of scenario, because she's now and like she's a lesbian in real life. Her character wasn't. She was married to a dude, and they have a kid,
Right.
and that's kind of funny too, because like the kid's having a bunch of sex with he's got a girlfriend, and so like they're like ordering dildos to the house and shit like that, and the mother's gotta like see the shit. She's like, what the fuck? But she's like not sleeping with her husband, and I think her character is a lesbian and is gonna come out.
Right.
And then the other one, their kid is like is I don't know if it's trans or whatever, but she's a girl. She wants to be, her name is Rose, maybe wants to be called Rocky or something, and they're trying to fucking figure that whole thing out. And I'll tell you, it was kind of a wonderful thing. I know people are criticizing it because it's like, oh, it's too like liberally stuff, but there was this scene where the parents, they go to who's the brunette girl, the one that was on Seinfeld, toilet brush girl.
Oh yeah,
Toothbrush girl. Charlotte. Boy, for somebody who doesn't watch the show, you know an awful lot.
You hear the names, Carrie and Charlotte, and I think Samantha. I don't know the other one.
Take notice, everybody.
I'm the Samantha, by the way. I left. I'm out.
Anyway, so their kids now in this situation, this trans situation, and so they go to the school for a meeting, and they're like, the principal and the teacher are talking to them, and they're like, well, we let the children like guide us in this scenario, because they're like, what do we do here? Like, is this okay? Is she just out for attention? Like, we want to support her, but we don't really know. And so they were like, well, we let the kids kind of like lead the way. And so they have this meeting, and then they come out, and the father, who's a bald guy, I forget his name, but he's a good actor. He's in a lot of stuff. He's like, it's the hardest thing in the world when somebody else tells you like how to parent your child. And they're sad because, they gave her this beautiful name, and now suddenly they're not allowed to call her that anymore. And I just thought it was so wonderful, because it just goes to show you the perplexity of these situations. Like, you have these parents who obviously love their child and want them to be happy and want to support them. But at the same time, it's tough, because it's the first time the parent is not really in the driver's seat anymore. And now the school is kind of telling them what to do. And like you said, like you have a kid, you give him a name, like take the trans part out of it, take the controversial part out of it, Frank, right? Like if your mom gave you the name Frank, if you one day was like, no, call me Edmund. I want to be Edmund now. Like, it would probably hurt your mom's feelings. Like, I gave you this wonderful name, and now you don't want to be, you don't want to be this name anymore. Like that's hurtful to a parent, I think.
Yeah, but I
thought that was an interesting dynamic.
Sure, but I think adding the trans part to it makes it easier for the parent, because this is who my daughter or son really is. So it's easier.
Yeah.
If I was just changing my name just to change my name, then that's, I could see my parents being upset.
Well, it's slightly different. My point of saying that was that's a hurtful thing. Because you could be like, I'm Edmund. I feel like Edmund. It's not a trans switch, but it's what you feel to be true to you. And I think that's hurtful for some parents, because it's like and that's, by the way, that's like a natural thing too, because like they take so much from you, the kids. And then one day they're like, nah, good. I'm doing it this way now. And you kind of like, fuck, like.
Well, it's not like that, because it's
exactly like that.
No, it's not, because it's their sexual identity. It's who they are.
It's not even like my kid. Like I used to always have to get him water out of the fridge. And then one day he got himself water, and I'm like, "Oh, you're getting yourself water now?
So you do something else for him."
And it's kind of, but it you don't think it's gonna sting you, but it does. There's a little bit of like, oh fuck, like they don't even get them water anymore.
See, the reverse of that, I'm not a parent. Obviously, people go, "Oh, you don't know, you're not a parent," but you should, you should be like happy that they're doing stuff on their own.
You are, yeah, you are, but it still hurts. Okay. It still hurts. To rectify the situation, I just turned the water off on the fridge.
Perfect.
Fuck yourself.
And now they got to ask you, where's the water? And now you got to get it for them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hook up the fridge. The water's still in the fridge. You just got to hook it up. And they'll be like, okay, I got it.
But like, there's obviously a lot about transgender in the world. What was, I thought, lovely about this is it kind of gives you that inside look, that other thing of like, because usually the controversy comes from, I don't believe this shit. Fuck those people. This wasn't that. This was like, we love, our daughter, whatever they want to be known as. And then, but it's like going off on it. I don't know. It's hard to, I'm not doing a good job describing it, but
I get what you mean. It's a part of life. That's not the issue. Is it a thing? The issue is how
do we best handle
interweave and handle it
Yeah.
now that it is a thing.
Because he was, and it was funny as like, from a father's perspective, he was saying like, this is a girl who would do all kinds of crazy shit just for attention, and like when you're a father, you kind of try and quell some of that, or a mother, a parent, you can't, like, don't go too crazy, like be a person, be who you are. Don't do things just for attention. Don't try and, do outlandish, lavish things just to get people to stare at you. And he's like, how do we go from that to let the kid lead the way? He's like it was almost like you don't know where the child stops and the adult starts to take over. That's a gray area in the passage of a person's life.
Yeah, I think like that's always the case. That's always been the case when they start taking on more responsibility and when they start, doing things for themselves. That's
Yeah.
It's a gradient, I guess.
Yeah. It's hard for the parents to navigate,
Yeah. I can't imagine it's easy.
So I thought that was an interesting thing. Tucker and Teddy. So,
oh boy, these two gems.
Ted Cruz. Look at how fucking hot. What's her name? Cindy Crawford still is.
She's amazing.
Gorgeous.
Yep.
And look at these two fucking
ruthless schlubs.
Schlubby shits.
Ugh.
Anyway, Ted Cruz goes on and calls what happened on January 6th an act of terrorism.
He called it that many times on many different occasions.
A billion times. And then Tucker Carlson called him out for it. And then he went on Tucker's show, and Tucker basically made him his bitch. Like,
so what do you mean he called him out for it?
Tucker went on the air the night that he said it, which was the 5th, and was like, why would he say this?
Why would he say it's a terrorist thing?
Yeah, he was like, he chooses his words wisely. Also, when did cable news people start to... If you notice, Rachel Maddow and Tucker Carlson have the exact same speech patterns.
No, they don't.
The exact
Tucker Carlson
same.
has the douchiest way he speaks.
His look is slightly more douchey than hers, but what? Why would he choose these words?
What are you doing?
He's a lawyer. He knows what words he's saying.
Yeah, he talks to us. He talks to his viewers like we're 4 years old, too, even though he's an adult in a bow tie, but that's something else.
What's amazing to me about this is there has never been a time where cable news personalities had less of an audience. This is the poorest cable news has ever done, right? They're hemorrhaging viewers to podcasts, to Instagram accounts, to TikTok accounts. People are consuming more of that stuff than YouTube channels, they're consuming more of that stuff than they are going to CNN, Fox, MSNBC from 7 to 10 every single night. Yet this guy still thinks he is on top of the world, and not for nothing, he fucking whipped Ted Cruz right into shape. I'd play the clip for you, but basically what it was Ted Cruz apologized to Tucker Carlson for calling them terrorists. And his excuse is anybody who commits violence against police, he's been calling them terrorists for 5 years. But he was sorry that he did it in this particular instance, even though that's exactly what it was, because the left and the corporate media have tainted this so much, calling it a terroristic event, that he should have changed his vernacular not to accidentally go along with
What
CNN.
a piece of shit.
That was his fucking excuse. I'm watching this going, I can't believe this guy has kids that he provides for. I can't believe this is a fucking grown man.
This guy is a leader of a freaking state, and I can't. He twists and turns so much. I'm surprised he has a spine. He's a piece of crap, and when he backpedals so fast like this, it's embarrassing that he represents, Texas and anybody.
This January 6th thing is so amazingly perplexing. Like on January 6th, we were at a point where Democrats were praising Dick Cheney for fucking showing up and being one of two Republicans, the other his daughter, to show up and be like, boy, that Trump is a piece of shit because he caused all of this.
Yeah.
And the Democrats were on Dick Cheney's side, the guy who single-handedly put us through the Iraq War.
And Karl Rove, one of the worst just fucking political people back in the 90s. And
if you would have told me in 2006, one day Democrats will look upon Dick Cheney and go, finally, some sense, I would be like, you're fucking crazy. That will never happen.
It's unreal. I mean,
it is unreal.
I don't understand. Yeah, go ahead.
Not one other Republican could have showed up at the fucking thing.
I can't believe that they did that. Like,
Not
what are you doing? And
here's the other thing before people are like, oh, Ant, you're so left. What difference does it make if we call this a fucking terrorist attack, an insurrection? How about it was just bad? How about it was just a bad thing? We're literally sitting here, and this is the other thing. I know I bring it up, it's a topic, but I refuse to be a part of the Fox CNN war. It doesn't that's really what it's become. Of like, what are we going to call this thing? That's what the fight is about right now.
I couldn't care less about Fox, CNN, what each side is. What it is I saw what happened. It was plain footage. You could see people busting into this place, beating up cops, throwing barricades, throwing fire extinguishers, and breaking through the doors and just ransacking up, shitting in the hallways of our Capitol.
Yeah.
And people dying, cops died, all these people were hurt. And that's what it was. I don't care. What I don't understand is how some people could go, oh, it's just tourists just walking through very peacefully.
Well, Ted, and then
what are you watching?
So then Ted Cruz goes, I didn't mean to call. He said, let me clarify. I don't mean to call the thousands of protesters that went there peacefully terrorists. And fine. There were tons of people there.
No one's talking about them.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, there were people stood outside. They didn't go in. They didn't harm police officers. They were just there to protest something that they thought was unjust.
That's not what we were talking about. That's
exactly.
not what anybody's talking about. We're talking about people who broke into the Capitol.
But he's saying that the left is calling it just because you support Trump. And it's like, well, no, now you're just talking about your little fucking Fox versus CNN war. You're not talking about reality and what happened.
That's the problem. Nobody's looking at it and going, this is what it is. I don't care whose side you're on. This is what we're looking at. And I'm sorry, but the speech that President Biden gave on the 6th was brilliant. I mean, forget which side you're on. Listen to that speech. It's about a half an hour, and it says exactly what it was. It calls out everything that happened, and it was like, this is what happened. And I'm standing here in the Capitol. This is what happened a year ago today. It was terrible. It was disgusting. This is who caused it, and this is what happened as a result of it, and they're going to be brought to justice.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
I didn't see it. I didn't see the speech, but I'll take your word for it. And
did he read? Worth watching.
He read the whole thing without falling asleep for a half hour.
He made it through the whole thing.
That's amazing. I would have lost money on that.
I'm telling you, do yourself a favor and listen to the speech. It's one of those. It has those moments of like, you could hear the speech 30 years from now. Oh, that's like those old footage, the speeches like a year.
Kennedy speech? You're saying
like a Kennedy speech or an
that's not what you're saying. It's an ask not what you can do for your country type of speech.
It might not be as memorable as ask not as that, but it has those poignant. I don't know. It just lays it all out because I guess it was a long time coming. We haven't really heard him say much about about Trump since he took office.
Mm.
You know, he's avoided talking about him. So that now it kind of just brought it all to the forefront.
Can I criticize Nancy Pelosi for a second before I get back to criticizing Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz?
Sure.
At one point, somebody sent me a clip of her introducing the cast of Hamilton, who virtually over Zoom sang a song together.
Okay.
Why the fuck was that a part of this? Why?
What, a part of what?
Like this whole like ceremonial thing of like January 6th, like they had to have fucking the cast of Hamilton come on Zoom, not even be there.
This is the first I'm hearing about it.
They came on Zoom and they sang and I know it because like when you, I don't know who put this together, but it looks like somebody put it together on iMovie on their Mac. Who they just got a Mac for Christmas and they're like, I know, it was just like block edited and just it was like the Capitol and then they put like Lin-Manuel Miranda in that little single block thing, like half blocking the Capitol. It was just awful. And I'm like, what are they doing? I mean, this is why they get criticized. Like, what are you doing? Like, have your ceremony, do your speeches. You don't need to be like, and now via satellite and Zoom, here's fucking Lin-Manuel Miranda and the cast of Hamilton to sing for you. Like, good news, everybody. There's some entertainment in the midst of our sad remembrance fucking thing.
I don't understand. Yeah, they have a big the Democrats have a big PR problem. They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know. Again,
not to say that the Republic. I think politics in general has a big PR problem. Republicans and Democrats. They don't know what they're doing.
I just feel like if I was in that meeting and they were doing their rundown, I'd be like, wait, come again? What happens at 10:45? I thought it said Hamilton sings. I don't get it.
This is not a celebratory event.
What the fuck are you doing?
We're not,
So anyway, Tucker Carlson literally says to stupid Ted Cruz's face, I just don't believe you. It was a very ballsy. Usually there's some courtesy from a host who's like, hey, I acknowledge that you and I don't agree on this, and you came on my show. Thanks for doing that. He literally was like, I just don't believe. He was scolding him in front of America for briefly having a realistic heart. Which is like what everybody should be doing, which is going.
Who had a realistic heart?
That Ted Cruz, when he called those people, when he said what was happening was terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like even if it's not terrorist, it doesn't matter. The point is that he was acknowledging that something horrific happened, which practically no other Republican has been able to do. And when they do it, they say it in such a politically correct, safe way as to not lose a single vote of their conservative base who loves Trump, you know? So it's like he had a fucking soft heart for a second, and this guy is going to pounce on him just for that. It's fucking absurd what's happening. Anyway, so he brings up this guy, what's his name? Webb. And this is the new thing now, which is, who is this guy Webb, and why was he taken off the FBI list? So there's a guy, so-and-so Webb, and he was seen at the Capitol that night. And now the big conservative talking point is that he worked for the FBI and he was there from the FBI to start all this, to blame it on the Republicans and Trump to get them out of office. So I go, you know me, Frank, I'll bite. And because they mentioned it quickly in their little spat together. They're like, did you see the footage? And Ted Cruz is like, I saw the footage and it was chilling. And I was like, all right, I want to see the chilling footage. I watched the fucking thing. It's this guy Webb, and he's talking to some other guy, and they're going back and forth about what to do about. I could probably play this part for you. Yeah, this is 39 seconds. I'll put this on so you can see how inconsequentially, this just utterly fucking ridiculous this exchange is between two Trump supporters, which in no way, shape, or form gives you the feeling that this guy was up to no good. Here, let me bring this up for everybody so that they can watch this. And this is courtesy of Miss Nobody on Twitter. So thanks to Miss Nobody for this Twitter footage. Let me bring it up for you.
You know what?
Okay, so that's the guy Webb. See the guy in the Trump hat, Frank?
Mm-hmm.
That's Webb, and this is just some other guy who hasn't gotten laid in a while, lives in his mom's basement. And he's filming him like it fucking matters. Everybody's filming each other talking about the same shit.
Right.
They all agree with
I'm not going to argue.
I want to stand up for a race.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But tonight, you know what? You can bring shame on us. That's not what it's about. This is about the Constitution. We're here to defend the Constitution.
Right, and what did our...
Now, he's saying to this kid, you could bring shame on us. So he's saying, like, hey, don't be an asshole while you're out here.
Founding fathers do in 1776 over a tax on tea, which is much less than this bullshit, dude.
Yeah, well...
Just saying. Come on.
We're far beyond that.
If you're about...
We're far beyond that.
Oh, yeah.
You know that.
I know.
In fact, tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go... I'll say it.
All right.
We need to go in to the Capitol.
Let's go!
So he says we need to go into the Capitol. That's what he says.
Right.
Then the next clip that everybody's making a big fucking deal about is he shows up. He's at the Capitol, and he's like on the front lines of them busting down one of the fences.
Right.
Credit Elijah Schaefer for this clip. I'm not even going to play the audio, Frank. You can just see it. Like, they're all walking up to the thing, and he pops up there for a second, but he legitimately is like trying to stop and help the cops. Yeah, let me skip ahead. They all get to the fence. Now they're starting to push the fence. He's still not in the frame. He's still not in the frame. This guy takes his jacket off here in the front. He's being ridiculous. There he is. And look, he tells this guy to stop. Look. He pulls him aside and tells him to stop.
Yeah.
And then look, he's not pushing the fence. Unless people think he's telling them to push the fence.
I don't know, but he did say we have to go into the Capitol.
He did say that. But my point is I'm
sure they were all,
a billion people that were all saying the same thing. By the way, I know people that were like, wait till you see what happens on January 6th. And I remember being like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah. This was circulating. This was not a fucking secret. And now everybody wants to turn around. Look, he very well may be a shitty person. I'm not like,
yeah, but this whole thing isn't on him. This guy.
It seems a little weird that they're like, oh, this must be the guy.
How about the guy standing on the podium, telling everybody to rush down to the Capitol and and cause the whole freaking crowd to head down there? I mean, or the guy who posted on his Twitter to his millions of followers, tomorrow, January 6th is going to be a crazy day, and and incited all this bullshit, and his lawyer who said let's take it by force. And I mean,
Bannon and Trump and they all were talking. You know why I don't believe this? Because this whole entire crowd was filled with one moron after the next of people that just want to blow smoke up their own ass. Yep. This was a crowd full of posers, and they all talk a huge game, and they all talk all the shit. And the only reason why this all really happened is because humans are just dangerous in crowds. Yeah. If any of these people did not have numbers on their side, they would have all been pissing their pants and running the fuck away.
Absolutely.
Which is why I don't believe any of this, that any of these no-name individuals were solely responsible.
No. It's the people who they're there for. It's the guys whose names are on the hats. I mean, those are the people they're following. That's why they're here. If Trump wasn't there that day, they wouldn't be doing this.
Then the other ridiculous thing, now the Democrats want Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham fired. They should
have been fired a long time ago, but why this time?
All these people should have been fired. But this is so fucking stupid. These idiots on Twitter, these liberals, they're going, oh, so Chris Cuomo could leak some information and not be a journalist and lose his job, but Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham can do whatever they want to do. It's like, you fucking idiot. Chris Cuomo was trying to smear victims of sexual abuse. Hannity and Laura Ingraham, for as fucking dumb as they are, were trying to get the president of the United States to be a fucking leader for 5 minutes and stop people trying to storm the Capitol. You can't distinguish the difference between one being really bad and one being actually the decent human thing to do. Be like, why don't you get on a fucking mic and stop this? That's not blowing your journalistic integrity.
Yeah.
And all these people on Twitter are like, why does Hannity get to keep his job and fucking Chris Cuomo doesn't? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Because he's trying to fucking smear a sex victim. That's why.
I think they should lose their jobs for other reasons, but this is not one of them. I don't know what else there is.
4 days this was trending on Twitter that people were upset about this.
I don't know what other back and forth they had with before the insurrection or during, but if all they did was say, Trump, you got to stop this, then then they didn't do anything.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's a decent human being thing to do.
Yeah.
My cousin texted me at like 4:00 in the morning or 11. I don't know. Can't tell the difference between the two anymore. And she's like, I agree with Jay Sabs regarding Pete Davidson.
Okay.
Jesus.
Just one other thing is maybe the only thing about the Hannity Ingraham thing is maybe them doing that is acknowledging that Trump is responsible for it. Maybe
that's fine. That's no reason for them to lose their jobs.
No, but
they're comparing what they did leaking.
No, that's true.
To Chris Cuomo, it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Agreed.
Thank you. So my cousin goes, because I think Jay Sab's last episode was saying how, Pete Davidson must have that sweet tongue action. And then my cousin sent me this footage of Pete Davidson.
Can you mute it? I don't want to hear whatever this is.
No, it's muted because we'll get a strike for it. We might get a strike for it right now for sharing it for the screen like this. But he's cutting. This is an advertisement for a clothing company that plays like in this store at Roosevelt Field Mall. She saw it there and immediately thought of Janine. Look at Pete Davidson. Watch Pete Davidson lick this ice cube. That's a big tongue. That's a
normal tongue.
That tongue's got a wide berth. Look at that.
It's a normal tongue.
I don't know about that, big man. Let's watch it again. Here, really quick. That's skill. She said my cousin texted
skill?
Me. She's like, Jay Sabs is right. Look at Pete Davidson's tongue.
Why? Because he licked a thing of ice?
I'm just saying. It's a 3
He didn't do anything special there. He licked ice.
It's a half a second lick, and my cousin was all excited about it. She said,
I thought we were going to see something special there. All he did was lick ice.
I mean, it doesn't have to be too over the top, Frank. You got to have some class about it. Keep it close. Look at that.
Yeah, but he didn't do anything.
I agree. I think, but look, he's looking up while he's doing it. That's a skill.
Oh, wow. He just licked the ice. Didn't do anything. This is what boggles my mind about him. He could do absolutely nothing, and everybody flips out. I don't get it.
I think there's a talent there. I think that what you just saw. Remember when Tiger Woods was on that show at 3 years old with his little Fisher-Price putter, and he hit that really long putt on the talk show? That's what that was.
Oh, okay.
You're like that's a little inkling that this guy's going to be a big thing one day.
No, that is skill. This is licking a thing of ice. That's all he did. He didn't do a thing.
I'm just saying.
Every person with a tongue can do exactly what he just did.
Note something here, and I noticed this when I went to the outlets out in the Hamptons. There's a huge outlet mall, and so I was there on Sunday, and my wife points out this store to me, and I'm like, I can't believe somebody named a store this. That's what this advertisement is for. If you look on the bottom of the page, this clothing line is called Moose Knuckles.
Oh my God.
Who would name a clothing line Moose Knuckle?
I don't know. But what's weird is his name is David LaChapelle.
Yeah, David LaChapelle, yeah.
I think Dave Chappelle?
No. David LaChapelle is a I want to say he's a photographer, not a fashion. Maybe he's both. I don't know. I can't believe somebody named a fashion line Moose Knuckle. For people, I mean, everybody knows what a Moose Knuckle is, right?
Yeah, I think so. If not, you could discuss it in the comments, but we know what it is.
That's when a girl wears really tight pants and...
No, it's when a guy does that.
No, it's a girl.
No.
Well, it technically can happen to both.
No, camel toe is the girl.
Oh.
Moose Knuckle is a guy.
Moose Knuckle's the guy.
And you get both boys, one on each side.
I think it could be both, actually.
It's when your boys are divided.
Well, the debate continues, Frank.
I'm telling you.
We'll never really know.
Yeah. If Jay Sabs was here, she'd tell us.
She'd be able to sort it all out. That would be great.
Right. I just don't get what's, what is this? What is the appeal? Is it because if he's all right, maybe he's a good looking guy, fine. But I don't see any talent or skill coming out of this guy. I don't see it.
I don't know. I think there's a little, even just because it was a half a second doesn't mean that it's not there. That's what I think.
He licked. Anybody can do that. There's nothing special. I thought he was gonna go nuts on the thing for like 5 seconds and show off some kind of weird trick or something. All he did was do one swipe with the tongue. That's nothing.
In the ongoing mask debate, a new study here from the ACGIH Pandemic Response Task Force. They say now that N95, well, it's been said for a little while that N95s are the best.
They've always been, yeah.
Masks to wear. Some places I see now will not let you in with a cloth mask any longer. But they basically came up with this chart of if there was an infected person and a non-infected person, how long would it take for an infection to take place? If they're both wearing nothing, they're saying 15 minutes. And then you could see here as it continues to go, if one's wearing a mask and the other one's not wearing a mask, it goes up to 20 minutes, meaning a cloth mask. If the person not infected is wearing a surgical mask and the person who is infected is wearing nothing, it goes up to 30 minutes. And then if they're wearing an N95, the person who's not infected is wearing an N95, and an infected person is wearing nothing, it will take 2.5 hours for them to get COVID. And if they're both wearing an N95, they're saying you'd have to spend 25 hours with a person.
It's pretty good.
Within 6 feet, breathing in their air to get infected with COVID.
So anybody I love the people in the comment. Masks don't work. They work.
According to this yellow chart, they do.
Well, how could this not block me breathing in your face and spitting particles in your face? How could that? It's just, forget what the box says. Forget what people are saying around you, what you've read. The masks, the surgeons wear them because they block their bacteria, whatever, coming out of their mouths or whatever. They work because it's common sense. It's a piece of cloth over your mouth. It's going to block things. How does that not block things?
And people are going to get mad at Fauci, which is fine with me. I don't care anymore at this point, because he said the no mask thing in the beginning. But this is just a sign of like
it was the very beginning. We didn't know what we were dealing with.
Yeah, what we are learning as this thing continues to go on. Because by the way, this might change in a year or two, and we're just going to keep evolving and figuring out whatever was happening. But I don't even. What's the difference between a surgical mask and an N95? It's just the grade of
this
mask.
This is a surgical mask, I think.
Oh, that's not. What's an N95?
N95 is like, you ever see they're like beige, and they have like they're like a painter would wear, I guess, or someone spray paint.
Those?
They're like heavy duty masks. I can show you a picture. Look at it. Right. Was it N95s?
Well, that's the latest on that whole mask thing, so people can get angry about that.
Yeah.
There's a report out that Aaron Rodgers.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, you're getting that. While we don't know who's going to be in the Super Bowl yet, supposedly Aaron Rodgers, if he were to make the Super Bowl, is planning on not playing in the game and boycotting it because of the NFL's vaccine mandating policy. I don't know what's more absurd, the fact that he's actually considering this or the fact that somebody dreamed this up and is spreading it around as a rumor that it's a possibility. Because like the idea, like, yeah, the Packers have a good team, but to be like, oh, I know, if we suffer through this entire season and make it all the way to the end to possibly win a fucking Super Bowl, I'm going to step aside just to show how fucking defiant I really can be. I can't even begin to fathom how that's an effective way of fucking doing anything.
Why is he boycotting?
He doesn't believe in the vaccine. He's not vaccinated.
So then don't go. No, there's going to be plenty.
But this idea of he's going to play the entire season with his team, right, to get to the championship, to not play stupid. In the championship.
That's dumb.
Like if I was his lineman, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's an N95 mask.
Oh, okay. So it's like the painter mask.
Right. It's thicker and it's Yeah, it's just heavy duty. But yeah,
That's what
so
she said.
well done.
Finally got one in there.
You got one. That's another one. That's what she said.
So,
But all right, so if you, why? I love that these people they're just people that don't believe it. Like, why don't you believe it? What is the reason?
that's not even the part that bothers me.
It all bothers me.
The part that bothers me is that he's like going to go through this entire season and playoffs and then bow out at the end. And then this idea of, I know what I'm going to do. Yeah, you're one of the great quarterbacks of all time, but there's no guarantee you're going to get to the Super Bowl. So to be fantasizing about this idea of, I know what I'm going to do when I get there.
Is anybody coming down on him? Like,
you haven't heard? There's been a huge controversy. He told everybody he was vaccinated and he wasn't.
Right. No, that I know.
Yeah.
But is anybody coming down on him for this specific boycott thing?
This just broke right before we got on the air. Boomer Esiason said he got a source that's telling him that this is a thing. I don't know. I think Frank, I think he should disclose that to his team if he's thinking about doing that.
It's called disclosure, you dickhead.
All right, we've got to get that away from you.
Yeah, we really.
You're getting a little button happy.
Everybody's mad at the Star Wars people because they made a video game with a guy who said, I don't even know what he said, some anti-gay, anti-woman thing once.
He said some stupid shit.
Did he really say that, or did people say that he said that?
Well, I wasn't there, but
he said I remember I forget the anti-gay thing, but the girl thing was, all the girls in my video games are whores.
Are whores, right?
Which
the
honestly feels like something that a video game person would say.
I mean, I guess, but do all the girls have to be? They can't be any,
Well, it feels like a stereotype based off of the driving around game. Then you beat up people.
Yeah, but they're not all. Even in that game, there's there's female characters that aren't.
Yeah, but what's that game?
Prostitutes. Grand Theft Auto.
Grand Theft Auto. Thank you.
So, what was it called? It's called Boycott or
Blackout Star Wars.
Blackout Star. There we go. Star Wars Eclipse. It's okay. So, Star Wars Eclipse. They're making a game, or they're about to make a game.
I said the whole thing.
Yeah, but then I know. All right, easy.
You gotta read it. I nailed it.
No,
in 2 sentences.
But they're boycotting the company.
They're boycotting Star Wars because they're working with that company who made the game.
Right. So now I don't know if the game is out.
I wasn't clear about that.
I don't know if the game is out just yet, but I'm trying to find. Okay, so it's David Cage is the guy from that company. I'm trying to find the name of the company.
Do you know what I find fascinating about this?
Hmm.
This is like the Super Bowl of, how do I want to word this? Social cause currency.
What?
Meaning, on one side, you have the gay community. On another side, you have women. And on another side, you have Star Wars. Those three entities are both huge and powerful entities when it comes to swinging things around and getting shit done. That makes any sense. Like, if I was a politician, a politician's like, oh, we got to get the woman vote. Like, you got to make sure you get out there, you got to get the woman vote, or you got to get the gay vote. Like, I don't think politicians pay enough attention to the Star Wars vote.
It's a big group.
It's a huge group, which, by the way, includes both gay people and women.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a big fucking deal.
So, all right. So it's Quantic Dreams.
And now you have these three entities kind of like one trying to take down the other. This is like if Princess Leia and Luke started fighting each other. Do they do that in the movie?
They don't do that.
No. Well, this would be that big. That's how big this would be.
That'd be big. They are brother and sister. Spoiler alert.
It would be like if Luke was like, I know everybody, boycott Leia. She's bullshit. She's racist. This would be, and everybody would have to pick a side.
See, it's Blackout Star Wars Eclipse. So I don't know what Eclipse has to do. Like, I don't know why they're saying Eclipse.
There is a
unless that's the name of the game.
Frank, there's a lesbian Star Wars fan out there right now with Star Wars tattoos, married to her wife, that is sitting in a couch, drinking alcohol, going, I just don't know. I don't know how to do this. I don't know what side I'm on here.
See, now what I don't understand is it boycotting the game, or is it boycott Star Wars.
No, Star Wars, because they feel like Star Wars knows this guy's a piece of shit, and they're still like, just make our game for us.
All right.
But at the same time, even though there's a lot of video game makers out there, making a video game these days is not easy. It's not like you can, it's not like, oh, I don't like Coke anymore because they're political views. I'll just go over to Pepsi. It don't work like that with video games. Like, you got to kind of know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah, I would say if Star Wars was smart, the people who run Star Wars, which is Disney now, if they were smart, they would abandon this whole thing.
I think Vader runs Star Wars, and you should know that.
That's possible.
Pretty sure that's how it works.
Except Vader, spoiler alert.
Well, no, don't. I haven't watched it all yet, so don't say anything.
But
this is like in a
divorced
couple when mom and dad make the kids choose who they want to live with. I feel like
rough.
This is how intense this is.
This is not cool, Star Wars. Stop doing this to us.
Yeah.
But there are people who love the video games. Last Star Wars video game I played, it was in the 90s.
That's
and
a
it
lot.
was it's true though. I haven't played real video games on in a long time.
I don't believe that either.
I play them on here now. I don't really play any like console games. But it's tough to make people choose. I don't think the game is out just yet. I think they announced it or something, and then people looked into it. So hopefully Disney gets their act together and says, you know what?
What are they gonna do? Tank a fucking game?
Yeah.
And then on the other hand, okay, but honestly,
either tank the game.
I'm being a wise ass.
Or pull away and get someone else to develop it.
I'm being a wise ass, but play with me here for a second. Like, that's exactly. You know how many years that's gonna take?
It's Disney. They can afford it.
I don't know, man. I mean, I know it's Disney. I know they got trillions of dollars, but still, that's that kind of thing where they go big. Like, not. I know they make big money, but they spend big money to make big money.
Yeah, of course they do.
You miss out on something like this, and that's a fucking big hole for a while.
But you know how much more respect they will get if they ditched either the game, the whole game itself, or they ditched Quantum, whatever the frig the name of.
I tell you what they're doing right now. They're trying to get that guy out because it's easier to get him out and let the company continue to make the game.
Now I would wonder if that happens, is that all good?
I would say so.
You think that
usually these people are angry and they're just looking for some kind of result. That's really it.
Well, it's I don't think that they're angry but for a good reason.
I don't know. Nothing has ever offended me, so I'm not quite sure how to react to anything.
Yeah, I understand, but
except for Olive Garden commercials,
you're not an oppressed, person. You're for the most part.
I'm pro-oppressed.
Right. So it would be difficult, like if you're a person of the LGBTQ community who wants to play a Star Wars game, and you're playing this game, knowing that the people
there's a lesbian woman right now that's like
it's like. How could I play this game knowing that the person who created it is this kind of person? It's hard,
But I go back to it doesn't really matter. Like you buy your turkey sandwich and you get your sweatshirt and
it doesn't matter who
you drive your car and you have no idea the people that are responsible for
the most part you don't know. Totally. But if they've come out and said something publicly,
like my family has shamed me for going to home. They're like, you go to Home Depot, and I'm like, when I need like nails and stuff. Yeah. And they're like,
what's wrong with Home Depot?
What about their anti-gay? And I'm like, are they anti-gay? Maybe it's Lowe's. I don't even remember. I don't even know.
And I don't think it's Home Depot. I never heard that. Maybe I'm wrong, but I never heard that.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm pro-gay. I can't keep track of everybody's fucking status.
If I hear of it and I know of it and I think of it, then I'll avoid it. Yeah. Like Chick-fil-A. I don't go to Chick-fil-A.
All right. Well, some of us aren't. Some of us are weaker. Okay. Some of us have weight issues.
I'm just saying.
Some of us want to be. Some of us want to support the gay community, Frank, but also can't get over our own cravings. Okay, buddy.
I go to PDQ. I'm a PDQ guy.
Well, some of us live really far away from PDQ and can't get there all the time.
I'm about a half an hour from PDQ. I can't.
No bullshit. I don't. Chick-fil-A. That didn't really do it for me.
I like to avoid companies that. That do that.
I agree, but let's be honest. Even though I now know, which I've since forgotten, who the gay hardware store is, even this last run through Christmas, I price checked both places and went to the place that was cheaper. Again, I can't remember which one was the bad one anymore.
I'd rather, you know what? I don't go to, let's see, what is it? It's Chick-fil-A, and there's, what's that variety store? It's not Target, but it's like that.
Hobby Lobby?
Hobby Lobby. I don't.
That's the other one. So they put up a Hobby Lobby. We go to I think I talked about it on this show. My family, people in the comments, put me up against a woodshed, and I was like, I didn't know any of this. I literally it was a grand
if you don't know,
opening.
you don't know. It's not your fault if you don't know about it. But if you know, I don't go to them. I'm not. I refuse. We pass by there. I'm like, nope, no thanks. I'll go to the next whatever the hell.
I don't know if there's anybody I'm actively boycotting.
It's just I could go anywhere else. I don't have to go to them. I don't have to give them my money. I refuse.
Yeah. I also don't buy things. I just don't
yeah. I mean,
I only buy things when I really need them. Who are these people that shop for fun? I don't know. I don't know these people. I don't know how they exist.
I don't mind food shopping. I go food shopping. I like
don't
walking
like
up and
doing
down the aisle. But we talked about that last time.
Yeah. R.I.P. Sidney Poitier, but he would know how to. That's the problem. The one person that could solve this Star Wars anti-gay, anti-woman thing, and we lost him.
We lost him.
First black actor to win an Academy Award. Just tremendous career. I always loved Sidney. Is one of those people. There's a few people where I could watch him act. I could just listen to him speak. To me, he's like this otherworldly. Like, you know that, like, you know, in Defending Your Life, the Mel Brooks movie, when people are like, oh, you know, I use 17% of my brain. They're like, I don't eat regular food. I don't go on Earth anymore. I'm far beyond that. He's one of those people to me, you know, and there's a few people out there like that are just on a different plane. They're just playing in a different game.
Yep. They're playing chess. We're all playing checkers.
And well said. And you can't figure out why or what it is. It's just there. You just know it's there, but you don't know why it's there.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys.
He's a legend, the guy. I mean, the stuff he's been in, the longevity of his career, and just the history and the barriers he's busted through.
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? That was like, you know, everybody talks Citizen Kane and Godfather and all these things, but watch Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. That's a fucking performance and a half.
In the Heat of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
He was even in is it the Bruce Willis, The Jackal? Small role in that, but he was good.
Yeah.
You know, he's in a bunch of, you know, he had later in his career, he had some bit parts and things like that, but he was still great. But he was, you know, 93 years old. He goes up there.
You know who else too that I forgot to put on the rundown? Peter Bogdanovich.
Peter Bogdanovich. Why do I know that name?
Huge filmmaker, not huge, but like just a film buff, film aficionado. Then kind of became a filmmaker. You probably most know him as the therapist in The Sopranos. You know, the one that Melfi went to.
Oh, okay.
With the glasses.
Yeah.
And the fucking water bottle and shit.
Yeah.
He would drink from that water bottle with the hooker netting on it on the outside. Yep. That's Peter Bogdanovich. He's a tremendous indie. Never made a huge film, but so well respected in the film industry. And then started little acting roles, including that spot on The Sopranos, which he was fucking great at.
Yeah.
Peter Bogdanovich died the other day too. That's kind of sad.
He had to be up there too. He was up there in The Sopranos. He had to be in his 60s in The Sopranos.
82. So yeah, just about. Yeah, just about. There's an interview, but there's I forget where I watched it on YouTube. Of course, I don't know what it was originally intended for, but it was Bogdanovich interviewing David Chase about The Sopranos, and it's an hour long. And when I finished watching it, I was so mad because I was like, this should be 10 hours long. Like, I know they edited the fuck out of this thing, and I wish I could watch the whole fucking thing. That's how great it was watching one guy who was producing brilliant material be interpreted by and, you know, evaluated by another guy who knows how to do that. It was fucking great.
Yeah.
It was great. I really, really enjoyed it. J-Sabs. when I asked her how did the job interview go, if you don't know what we're talking about, you got to go back to the last episode. Jay Sabs goes on a job interview. She went the job interview was yesterday. I asked her how it went with the penile implant company, and she said she got dicked over. That was literally her quote.
So now how did she get dicked over?
She was stood up. The guy set an appointment time with her, and they were scheduled to do a Zoom interview, and he was a no-show. She emailed.
He just didn't show up. He didn't show up. No excuse. No email. No nothing.
Nothing. I wonder if he went to the podcast the night before where we fucking slammed his company for 45 minutes straight.
Could have been.
Could possibly be.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess if you do I don't know. It's not like she interviews under the name J Sabs.
No.
So I don't know how they would.
We did flash his emails on the screen though. So I don't know.
Maybe he's a fan of the show.
I don't know. Maybe. Perhaps maybe.
That's a possibility. But all right, yes. If you set up an appointment and you skip out on the appointment, that's kind of. But if you just never set up the appointment, that's one thing. But setting the appointment and then not showing,
dick move.
Dick move.
You got anything else?
I got some Jumpstart.
15% off right now. Use the promo code AOA15. Link in the description below, or click on the banner on the homepage of AnthonyOnAir.com. We appreciate you guys so much.
Agreed.
You got rave reviews for the last thing you hung on your coat.
I remember. Oh, did I? Did I get rave reviews?
It was a box of macaroni.
A box of pasta, which is not in my view right now.
What is there right now? Is that a radio?
No, it's a purse.
Oh,
it's one of my wife's purses.
It looked like a tape recorder. Oh, that's lovely. Is there any money in there? Empty it out.
No, there's nothing in here. Empty purse. I don't think I can get it back on that.
No, I don't think you can.
It's not happening. Oh,
I'd love to see you fall backwards though to end the show.
That's close.
All right, that's it. Frank's going to continue to try to do that. You guys check AnthonyOnAir.com, and we will catch you on the next episode.
Show me potato salad.
Get it.
Maybe we should go now.
Get it.